Hey guys, welcome to another video from the Parrott Bros. Now today I'm going to be addressing the misfire issue I have with this. Now because this has been played about with, it has got aftermarket injectors in. Now the problem with them is they're a different plug. And the issue I'm having is sometimes when I'm on full boost or making my way up to full boost, it will flag an engine code. And of course you don't want to start ragging it when you've got an engine code because there's the potential to do some harm. Now the last thing I want to do is run a cylinder with no fuel. So what it currently has is an adapter which takes it from normal VAG style plugs into this EV, I think it's called EV14 plug, which is a slightly different fitment. And all it normally does is this is your normal cabling here, and it just literally plugs in, and then this plugs onto the injector. Now these are literally a couple of quid each, and they're all right. I've taken one apart. I'll show you what it looks like inside. But they are renowned for having issues. So let's have a quick look what they look like inside. So I've taken the white cover off, and then on top of this there's literally just a pin that pushes through from the other side. That's all it is. But all I want to do is just get rid of one additional adapter, because then there's two connections. You've got the plug onto this and then this onto the injector. And you can buy a kit. This cost me less than £10. It's not something you're going to have to do if you've got original injectors, but if at any point you do decide you want to put some bigger injectors in because you want more power, and the mapper said, yeah, stick some bigger injectors in, then that's what you've got to do. So what we start by doing is taking these rubber shrouds off, and I've been doing these one at a time, and what you can do is push it forwards, and then we'll just clip this off. And then I'll show you what we're doing. Right, so that's the cover that's normally mounted to two injectors, two plugs. And then what we're going to do is dismantle the injector. Now this is actually very simple. These have a little tab on the underside, and you just lift it gently, and then the plug pulls out, like so. So then you remove your plug, and then all you're left with is this little purple plug here. Get my head out of the way. This little purple plug here, which is what pushes in, which has the two cables in. And all we're going to do is cut the cables at the bottom. I always keep the plug in the orientation it came out, just to make sure I don't wire it the wrong way around. So let's just double check this. Because I'm talking, I'm not paying attention, of course. Right, so it goes that way around, yeah. So it is always red on the right hand side. So the larger cable's on the right, the smaller cable's on the left. I've always left one next to it whilst we're doing it for that exact reason. Or take a picture. Can never have too many pictures. So we take that out. And then what I normally do is just cut it as physically as close as to the thing as you can. So then thus giving you the most amount of cable. The last thing you want to do is cut it short and then struggle. Right, and then I'll remove this boot. I haven't actually been leaving these on because they'll look a bit funny because they don't quite fit the same. Now, one thing you do need to do is the makeup of these new plugs require a sort of a dust boot or an IP rated boot to stop the dust and stuff getting in. So you have to push these over the cables first before you do absolutely anything. So get them on there, maybe take a little bit of this insulation off. Let's see if I can tilt this down a bit so you can see a bit better what we're doing. Okay, so push the boot over. We'll take a bit of this insulation off just to give us a bit more. We can always put a bit more back on afterwards. That's what I've been doing. Okay, next we need to strip our cables. Now I have a stripping tool set so that it does not cut the cable itself. And these are quite good. You can obviously set it, and then you put it over the cable and just squeeze down. If it should just bite the insulation of the cable, that's not quite enough. Just double check, because the last thing you want to do is cut the cable and then make it short for yourself. There we go, and that gives us a nice amount of cable. You don't need too much sticking out. I'll show you on the next stage what we're going to do is then to get ready to put the plug back on. Now, I had to buy a tool for this. it's handy because it comes with a nice little set of adapters. So I bought a tool. This tool is for making off uninsulated crimps, and then it came with a lovely set of plugs and cables and all sorts of great stuff, so that in the future, should I need to make any plugs off or make any leads, I can use nice little plugs and make a really nice job of it. Now, on to the next job. We've got the pins. Now, these are the pins themselves. I've got my cables on the right way. Now, what I found with these is, because they're quite big, you have to just make these so they're straight. Apologies about the rain if you can hear it. Luckily we have the unit for that. And then you need to find the right one for what you're doing. What I would recommend doing is getting some of the scrap ones out of some of the ones that came in the kit, and have a go with making them off first, because then if you mess it up, you're not going to lose the only crimps you have. And then you have to push the cable in and get it to the point where it says not to go any further than, which is about there. And then you can crimp it off, and then you have to do it again just to make sure you get the back part, which holds the cable in as well. There we go. Right. So there's that made off. I'll get a picture later just so I can stick it over this video to show you. And that will not come off now. That is a really, really good fixing. Again, do the same with this. Just straighten the tabs off a bit. Put it in our crimper. And this is all just so that I don't have any misfiring issues, because it just, if it's hardwired, it's just one less thing to go wrong. Try and keep the orientation of the plugs the same, so then you don't have to twist these around later. There we go. And again, just do the cable holder, because it has this piece at the back which actually sort of folds into the cable itself, just to stop the cable coming out in the future, which is amazing, because you know it's a sort of a termination for life as such. Make sure the pins are nice and straight, which they are. Then we get our plug. Apologies, I know you can't see all of this, but you can obviously see me doing it. We get the plug. Make sure the plug's the right way round. Now, when you're putting these on, these can obviously go one of two ways. Well, they can go one of four ways, but one of two ways. And you need to basically look at, where's my plug gone? Look at your adapter, and you want to see which way has the bottom part, which has the sort of the thicker part. And then we're going to put that plug in exactly the same, facing the same way, so you know it's going to get a nice connection. And what you do is push both of these in as far as they'll go, and then it comes with this little adapter which pushes in and holds them in. So then now they're locked in there nice and tight. Lovely jubbly. And then you can take your adapter off, and then that should just click on nicely, which it does. Yeah, all good. And then get a flat-headed screwdriver and push your dust seals in. Make sure it's a reasonable size one, because you don't want to cut the cable. And then you just push these boots in gently, just push them down, work them round, and they'll go in, and that gives you that nice seal. Stop anything getting in there. Nice little job this. I've been meaning to do this for absolutely ages, because it's annoying. Sometimes you'll come on boost and then bosh, engine management light, and of course you don't want to keep pushing it hard, because hey, could have a problem. It's the last thing you want. Cool, nice and jubbly, lovely jubbly. I'll pop a little bit more insulation around there in a minute. Let's do this last one. So again, nice, easy to do. Get a pick tool or a flathead, and just pop that little black plastic tab off, and then it just pulls out nicely. And there you go. Again, cutting the cables as close to the crimp as possible. Give you the maximum amount of cable to play with. Take this boot off. And then we are ready to strip again. Remember, dust boots first. Make sure they're facing the right way around. Larger side goes on first, shorter side is what gets pushed in, the sort of conical shape, into the plug afterwards. There we go, strip them nice, get our plug ready, let's get rid of all of this additional rubbish. Cool, weather's terrible, absolutely terrible today. Right, strip these. I would say you probably need about 6mm of cable, something like that. You'll get a feel for it because basically on the crimp, let's see if I can show you a crimp close up. On the crimp, it has the larger wings at the back and the shorter wings at the front. So you don't want to have the cable going past the shorter wings, and then the longer wings go into the actual insulation of the cable itself, just for gripping. Straighten these up quick. The reason you have to straighten them up a little bit is just because this tool doesn't like it if they're over a U shape, just because it doesn't fit very well. Do the smaller one first. So you're looking in, just making sure that the cable isn't coming out too far. So that's the first crimp done. Second crimp is to do the cable holder. Perfect. And that is on there. Nice and snug. Let's do the other one. I'll stick a thing up for these if anyone needs them, or is currently running the adapters and wants a more permanent fix. Thoroughly recommend them. I actually got recommended these from Aaron, my buddy with a cool Leon, because he runs similar on his. Get them on there, nice. Right, let me get this finished off and then I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so here's a close-up of what it looks like now. I've left a tiny bit of cable showing just so I give it a little bit of flex. It's got those dust seals on. It looks very similar to original, apart from they haven't got those boots on. You could leave them on if you want, but they don't fit the same, so I didn't see the point. And I think they look really good. To be honest, the only reason I actually wanted to fit them was because I don't want that misfire. Such an easy job, and it's something I've been putting off for a while, but it is horrendously necessary because obviously the last thing I want to do is run it lean, cause myself a load of issues, and then it's going to cost me in the long run. So, well worth doing. Save having that light in your eye. Well worth doing. There's not too much else I want to do under this bay. I do need to fit the water meth. That is on my job next. I just need to find somewhere to mount it in the back of the car. The pipework's going to come along here. I'm probably going to put the solenoid and the relay here somewhere, just out of the way because I've got this nice big gap. I need to address this because that's really floppy and annoying. I'm probably going to put my program on there, but I need to work out the piping and buy another little bit of pipe and that. But apart from that, really clean engine bay, functional. And then we'll get to Badger 5, once the meth's installed, get it checked, get a little map tweak, and just make sure that it's running absolutely sweet running into 2024. But I hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you found it interesting. It's something a bit different. I haven't done any sort of proper how-tos and physical wiring stuff for a while, so had to remind myself how to do it. But glad to get it done. Started the car, tested it, no injector fault, so we'll take it for a drive later and see how we get on. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Bye for now.